features Pokemon Go. So, like, the standard lineup, Pokemon Go is always dropping content and having events, but it doesn't.
Hello, what's up, everyone? Today we are going to be playing Fate Stay Night, a game that just recently released here in the States for the first time, celebrating its 20th anniversary in Japan. But yep, so let's get going. Type Moon presents. The tip of the sword was like a flash of lightning, a spearhead thrust to skewer the heart. Even attempting to evade it was pointless. It was but a flash, too swift for the human eye to follow. And yet, moonlight swept in to save me. From the strike that threatened to end me. The sound was beautiful, like the tolling of a bell. No, truth be told, the sound hung over me, heavier than an iron weight. This beauty had little to do with aesthetics. The stark armor wrapped about her was like the frozen night itself. The ring was not in itself pleasant. It was the sound of steel. But the night herself was beautiful enough to make it into the chiming of a bell. Ooh, Saber! I ask of you, are you my master? Her voice resonated in the darkness. I have come in response to your summons. Henceforth, my blade is with you, and your fate with me. Our path is now sealed. Indeed, the pact was sealed. Just as she chose to serve me, I'm sure in that moment that I swore to save her. The moonlight cut through the darkness. As if in imitation of the night, the storehouse regained its former calm. Time had stopped. The vision before me had lasted less than a second. Shit. Be that as it may, I will always remember the sight of her as clearly as if it were still happening now, even if I fall into the depths of hell. The faint slant of her profile, her serene, divinely green eyes. For a moment, time stopped, and her silhouette, draped in blue, swayed in the wind. I was struck by the pale blue glow. Her hair, as fine as golden thread, was bathed in moonlight. What a fucking intro! This happened 10 years ago. I see someone who takes me back. He's tall, with chiseled features. I've never known him to crack a joke. He ruffles my hair affectionately. No, that's not what this is. It's more like he's grasping my head and working it like a stubborn jar lid. Maybe he doesn't know how to control his strength. That's only to be expected. It's the first time he's ever done something like this. It's time for me to leave. You know what to do next. I answered yes in a somber voice. He nodded once, withdrew his hand, and stood up. That's all. Had I known this would be the last time we would ever see each other, I would have done my best to make him laugh with the perfect joke. I've been practicing punchlines in private in the hopes of finally seeing a smile crack on that stony face. If I have one regret, it's that I never got to tell him any of my jokes. Get the association in your debt before you become an adult. Any decisions after that, I leave up to you. I'm sure you'll manage on your own. So he said, but I bet he was worried about me. He told me about our family's heirloom jewels, the gems passed down to us from a grandmaster, and how to manage the underground workshop. It was a rapid-fire course of subject he'd never taught me before. Even as a child, I realized that he would probably never come home again. There was a war. Not a war between countries, but between people. But in this war, there were only 7 combatants. It might not have seemed fitting to call it a war, but having mages involved changes things. 7 mages from different factions competed, but I wasn't sure why. They killed each other using methods I didn't really understand. One of them was the man in front of me. It meant that he would kill and eventually be killed. I'm sure he felt the ticking of his life's clock even more keenly than I did. Poor Tokiomi! Rin, before long, the Holy Grail will appear. It is the duty of the Tosakas to obtain it, but above all, it is a path we are destined to walk as mages. And with that, he ruffled my hair one last time and left. I never saw him again. My father/teacher was one of the masters who participated in the Holy Grail War. He never came home. Safe travels, father. I bid him farewell, as a well-behaved daughter should. I knew I was on the verge of tears, but I didn't let them show. I loved him. He was a great father, and an even greater mage. Mages are stubborn people. As far as I knew, there wasn't a more upstanding man in the whole world. As my instructor, he trained me. As my father, he loved me. So I decided I'd accept the things he left for me and choose my own path. Rin, before long, the Holy Grail will appear. It is the duty of the Tosakas to obtain it, but above all, it is a path we are destined to walk as mages. In the end, his final words for me were given as a mage, not a father. That's the moment I made up my mind. Alright. I guess I'd better do everything I can to become a worthy mage. It's only natural for an apprentice to live up to her master's hopes. That's how I, Rin Tosaka, grew up after experiencing life's twists and turns. It's been 10 years since my father went off to war. I wouldn't say I've been looking forward to this day, but I am a bit on edge. That goes without saying, after all. That moment, which was burned into my memory 10 years ago, will soon be upon me again. January 31st. Hmm. Okay, let's config fast, volume max, config. Okay, wanted to fix that up. I do like the kind of font that they do here. I hear something. Ring, ring. Shut up. Stop. The noise doesn't stop. Such an infernal racket. It's almost as if it's here to avenge my father. What now? I was up late. Just a little longer. I wish it just let me sleep a bit more. In fact, it should. I stayed up until the early hours deciphering my father's will, and I used a hell of a lot of magical energy to do it. Totally exhausted, body and mind. Good grief. Cut me some slack, would you? Ring, 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 ring. The alarm clock is deaf to my complaints. What kind of machine makes a noise that seems like its sole purpose is to remind you that you're late? Wait, I can't be late. True, but there's a time and place for everything. No matter how much of an overachiever I am, I should try to make it in school on time, at least for today, if only slightly. Alright. I set my alarm 30 minutes early, which means I should still be able to sleep another 30. Hmm? Doesn't that sound off? 30 minutes early. I peer at the alarm clock through sleep-heavy eyelids. My hand points to 7 o'clock on the dot. I usually get up at 6:30, which means I'm completely used up my safety margin. Speaking of which, why is my brain so slow in the morning? I glare at the alarm clock for several seconds. I shut off the alarm and climb sluggishly out of bed. The morning chill bites at me as I cross the hallway and enter the parlor. This is the final 7 o'clock a.m. in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning in January. Winters in Fuyuki are relatively warm, but the mornings here are cold as anywhere. Even at home, my breath mists white. It's that much colder without anyone else living here. Heater, heater. I turn on the heater and go wash up. Single living is so inconvenient at times like these. If there was someone else here to wake up before me, then the parlor would already be heated. I wash my face at the sink. I run a brush through my long hair and get dressed. A chilly morning in a frigid bathroom. The only thing to be said for it is that the cold water mercilessly beats the sleepiness from me. With the final tug on the ribbon at my collar, I finish getting dressed. All that's left is to have breakfast and go to school. I'm kind of glad so far that the this it's taking the what UBW the anime did, and it actually made like the prologue here, like, this is from the perspective of Rin, and I'm kind of happy that they did that. If anything, it does make me wonder if it does that for the entirety of like, if the same deal, if it's the same prologue in every route. Uh, oh man, I can hear my back pop. Jesus Christ. The clock reads just past 7, so my morning rush feels like a bit anticlimactic. Oh, I don't even need to run then. Of course, I'd never do anything so uncouth as sprinting to school. The Tosaka family motto dictates that we conduct ourselves with confidence and elegance at all times. Yeah. I will say, like, this isn't my first foray into Fate Stay Night. It's my first time playing the actual visual novel, which I'm glad they finally brought it to the fucking States. Fucking thank you, finally. But I'm going to say this. Yes, I have seen the original Fate Stay Night anime. I've also seen Unlimited Blade Works. I have not seen Heaven's Feel. I absolutely need to. But Ren's father is a piece of shit. I mean, basically, like, kind of all the characters in Fate Zero are kind of pieces of shit. But that's one of the good things about it. But and I also really I like the artwork so far. It does make me wonder if they are like, instead of mere remasters, if they would actually, like, full on remake the the visual novel. I think that would actually be a really cool thing to do. But I mean, we're getting is it Hollow Ataraxia maybe next year? Um, the fact that they pumped this game out, like, they announced the fucking release date, and the release date was like, oh yeah, it's in like fucking 3 days. Oh, dude, that shit's fucking crazy. Like, I've seen people, like, no one talks about shit like that. Like, when games do that, and it's like, it's fucking insane. But overall, I'm I'm happy about getting this game. So now I have all three major visual novels from Type Moon. Uh, I have Witch and the Holy Night. Now I got Face Tonight, and I got Tsukihime, which I've also made a video on. I've made the unboxing. But either way, let's get back. My ancestors must have been some high and mighty aristocrats, if that's what we've taught through the generations. Shit. The anachronistic mansion I live in is proof enough of that. Plus, the Tosakas are a line of spellweavers who practice what is known as magecraft. We're not just an old family, we have an admirably storied history. Not that it's anything to brag about. In fact, I literally can't talk about it. The truth is, I'm a mage. Who could I even brag about that to? As the name suggests, magecraft is what most normal people would see as magic. It sounds like some supernatural woo-woo, and if you'd like to think of it as just wiggling your fingers and saying abracadabra, that's fine too. Just think of us as people who chant weird words and make equally weird stuff happen. That said, we don't fly around on broomsticks. We don't shoot stars out of wands either. We can do things kind of like that, but there's no point, so we don't. We're pretty much heretics who lurk in the shadows of society. We're not allowed to draw attention to ourselves, and anyone who has the time for that kind of thing would rather spend it on their research. Ordinary humans might call us magicians, but that would be wrong. In fact, there are only 5 magicians in the whole world. Magicians are what we call people who can do something no one else can. They can accomplish feats beyond the means of modern science and perform genuine miracles. Similarly, magic is a label we use for mystics, magical mysteries, that can't be realized with any amount of time or skill. While magecraft, though it looks mysterious, is something anyone can do with enough time and resources. I'm a mage, and the kind of mystics I use are merely magecraft, not true magic. Okay, so my understanding is magic and magecraft are like of different tiers. Magecraft is your basic mage. Magic is like when someone uses actual magic, it's a big fucking deal. Uh, like going into the whole Fate universe, like Fate Grand Order and shit. Um, like magic is like basically you only these 5 magicians, as far as I'm aware, they're the only ones who have touched what you call the root, and it's kind of like the center of the universe kind of deal. It's like achieving enlightenment. It's a really really big deal. Uh, but yeah, that's the whole deal. I'm not going to get into until like much later. Also, modern civilization doesn't accept the existence of mages. We believe in, manipulate, and study things that can't be measured, which puts us at odds with modern society. Above all, there's no point to any of what we do. You'd be so much happier just going off to a normal school and becoming a normal adult that you would do than you would studying magecraft. Yeah, true. Human technology has accomplished great things. For the last few centuries, magecraft has been playing catch up to the progress of civilization. Nothing is impossible for humanity anymore. Miracles that would only be realized with magecraft in the distant past has been reduced to common tools and appliances. But I'll be right back. I'm going to finish my sandwich. But I'll be right back in a minute or two. Even so, magecraft does have its benefits. Just as there are some things only science can accomplish, there remains heights only mystics can reach. If science is racing into the future, the mages are racing into the past. I think the Chisaka Grandmaster said that. Whether you're heading into the past or the future, your destination is the same, zero, or something like that. We can shelve the difficult topics for now. Philosophy is for the elderly. I kind of disagree with that statement. If anything, philosophy should be taught in schools. And I do think that people should try and learn like philosophical history and all that, like how uh, thought has evolved over the course of the millenniums. I finished my breakfast and pick up my bag. Oh, right. Gotta bring my pendant. Mm-hmm. I'm reluctant to take something so valuable to school, but it would be a waste to leave it behind. I mean, this thing's 100 years old. It's by far the most powerful jewel we have. One could even say it is on an entirely different level. I obtained the gem after decoding my father's will last night. It's imbued with 10 years worth of my own magical energy. Jesus Christ! I've been told that the Tosaka family has heirloom jewels passed down since the olden days, and this might be one of them. Tosaka mages specialize at the conversion and flow of power. We channel our magical energy into precious gems whenever we have a spare moment. Simply put, I'm the gun and the jewels are bullets. Okay. The other main thing I've inherited from my father is the magic crest engraved into my left arm. The magic crest is proof that I'm the heir to our lineage. It's like all the techniques of the Tosaka condensed into a tattoo. Hmm. It, I remember seeing, uh, like, people, playing D&D, like, they would have, their characters like marked with tattoos in which they can store their magic and stuff and like cast cantrips using their tattoos. It's a really cool idea. Uh, I think this is kind of that. I can't let my guard down, even if it hasn't started yet. For now, I stow my pendant, my father's keepsake, in a pocket. It's my trump card. There's nothing I can't do with the power stored in there. It's 7:30. I better leave soon if I don't want to be late for school. Schleibung lock the hardened dry. I weave energy into a brief foreign phrase. As a mage, I can't neglect the security of my home base. That still applies if I'd never had so much as a single burglar, lost child, or stray cat wander into my home. Actually, I don't think the neighbors have even once come over to say hello. That's fine with me. But why don't I ever get any stray cats around here? I look up at the mansion that's been my home for over a decade. Fuyuki is a strange city. One side of the intersection dividing the residential areas is filled with old samurai estates, while the side I'm on has an abundance of mansions built in European style. Apparently a whole bunch of foreign families immigrated here long ago, but I've never seen a single foreigner around. There's even a cemetery for foreigners in Shinto, the new part of the city across the river, but it was built for the generation that immigrated here. Maybe Japan just didn't suit them. I'll make a mental note and ask the priest about it next time I visit the church. He's nothing if not full of boring trivia for sure. Oh? Something feels off as soon as I step outside. That's weird. It's quieter than I thought. There's no trace of the typical morning bustle. 7:30 in the morning. There would normally be students and workers on their daily commute. I guess it's just one of those days. Maybe everyone slept in. It's unusually cold today, so everyone must be snuggled up in bed. Still, though, even if that were true, it's strange that there isn't a single student on the street. At this time of day, you'd expect to see at least a school uniform or two. And yet, from where I'm standing at the school gate, it looks like morning club activities are just starting up. Which can only mean... Oh, Tosaka. Tosaka, you're awfully early today. Oh! her clock was wrong. I knew it. With a light sigh, I turned to face the student who called out to me. Morning. Sure is cold today. The girl who addresses me so casually is Ayako Mitsuzuri. She's my classmate in 2A, and she has quite a history. Morning, Mitsuzuri, and sorry for the weird question, but do you know what time it is? Hmm? It's not even 7 yet. You still asleep or something? She waves her hand in front of my face as if to ask if anybody's home. Ayako is one of my few friends, and she knows I'm not a morning person. She's probably figured out by now that I'm still not completely with it. The clocks at home are an hour ahead, all of them apparently. I thought it was just my alarm clock, but the grandfather clock was off too. What's going on here? Father must have set the clocks to go haywire once I took the pendant out of the underground cellar. Tosaka. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. Are you on your way to morning practice, Mitsuzuri? Yeah, there's a lot of troublemakers in the Kyudo club, and we're down one of our best shooters. We need to put on a good show if we're going to attract first years in April. I see. Sounds rough. Way to show you care. Oh, want to come see? I'm sure the boys would love to know you're watching. The Kyoto Club, huh? I'm acquainted with 3 of its members. One is Ayako, the girl I'm talking to now. I barely ever speak to the other 2. Of those latter 2, there's one I actually can't explain away as simply an acquaintance. I became friends with Ayako, the club captain, because I've been watching the club from afar. Okay, as long as it's just watching, I'll come. It's not like I have anything else to do this early in the morning. Nice. Let's get going. One of our school's trademarks is its well-equipped archery range. Okay, so I'm guessing Kyudo is archery. The chair of the school board has a passion for Kyudo, traditional Japanese archery. Okay, so I was correct. So they built a magnificent range on campus. It's kind of a waste for a high school club, to be honest. Come on, let's go. There's still time before practice starts, so I'll get you some tea. Ayako tugs on my arm, looking somewhat pleased. If I'm being honest, her brusque way of speaking is a bad habit. As Ayako said, there's no one else at the range. We sip Japanese tea so hot it numbs my tongue as we prepare ahead for today's classes. The hot drink is delicious in the quiet, wintry archery range. Okay, I'll get right down to it. What's up with you today, Tosaka? Did you finally reel in someone good? Well, it's about time for me to uh, quit. So I am going to stop right here. Um, Hopefully you guys all enjoy and whatnot. Uh, so far, I mean, it's Fate. It's awesome story. Really, it does kind of make me wonder, and I want to make a video talking about like if Fate were to obtain a an American live action adaptation. How would it go? And just like who would be the big actors and everything. So, uh, I'm gonna go and be kind of one another. Stay based. Have some fun.